planning your pollinator garden, coming up next on Year-Round Gardening. Fortunately, it's not difficult to plan a garden that pollinators will love. We just have to keep 3 key principles in mind: the needs of pollinators, plants, and the gardener. Consider habitat needs. Most people know that butterflies and bees need nectar from flowers. But if we want them to make a home in our garden, we need to provide for all the stages of their life cycle: egg, larva, and chrysalis, as well as the adults. Planting native trees like oak, cherry, willow, or maple, and shrubs like spicebush will encourage many lepidopterans to use your garden as a nursery. When the larvae are ready to pupate, they need sheltered places to spin their chrysalides or cocoons. Native shrubs and leaf litter are essential for their safety throughout the winter months. Many native bees spend the winter in shallow underground tunnels under a blanket of leaves or inside the spent stems of shrubs like elderberry or raspberry. When choosing a plant, be sure to note its bloom time to make sure you've selected something for every month of the growing season. In addition to food, pollinators also need water. Butterflies enjoy puddling areas of damp soil where they can absorb water and minerals through their feet. Bees also appreciate a shallow water source. An upturned wine bottle is the perfect size and depth. And it's important to make it as easy as possible for pollinators to find your garden. Planting in large groups of at least 3 feet or more makes it easier for pollinators to locate your buffet. Now that you've considered what pollinators need, it's time to think about what your chosen plants might prefer. Is your plot in full sun or is it shady? Plants have very definite preferences when it comes to light, so this is another way to narrow down your selections. What type of soil do you have? Although native pollinator plants aren't usually too choosy about soil conditions, some thrive in more acid conditions while others prefer a more alkaline soil. A soil test is a good way to be sure you're planning for success. The moisture level of the soil is also an important element. For example, you may want to include milkweed in your pollinator garden as the host plant for the monarch butterfly. But there are over 140 species of milkweed and more than 10 that are native to Pennsylvania. Some, like swamp milkweed, will thrive in moist soil, while others, like the brilliant orange butterfly weed, prefer well-drained areas. We've talked about the needs of pollinators and plants, but what about what you'd like from your pollinator garden? Begin by making a base plan, a bird's-eye view of your landscape that includes property lines and existing buildings and plantings. You don't have to be an artist. Just a simple sketch can help you visualize your goals. And testing ideas on paper is much easier than digging up and rearranging plants. You could begin by planting a few native trees and shrubs around the edge of your property, expanding from what's already in place. Or add some native perennials underneath to begin building a layered landscape. A garden hose is a great tool for trying out interesting border shapes or creating paths. Or you might create a small flower garden of native perennials with a few showy annuals for added color. Remember succession of bloom. Choose at least 2 perennials from each flowering period, spring, summer, and fall, and add some showy annuals for added color and nectar. Lay out zones with different height ranges, colors, and shapes. Don't forget to plant in groups of at least 3 feet or more for maximum impact. And be sure to consider site conditions when selecting your plants. If starting with a blank canvas seems intimidating, there are plenty of sample design plans available in books or on the web to give you inspiration. And talking to other gardeners is always useful. But knowing your own conditions and preferences will give you the best result.
Videos like this are made possible by support from viewers like you. If you enjoyed this video, visit WPSU.org to become a member today and help us create more content like this.